David St. Louis, KYTrackXC.com, here to recap the St. X Coach Cooper Brother Borgia meet this weekend at St. X. Talking about it before, with the Dream Mile there last week, a lot of people talked about how the track was fast. It's a harder surface than we're going to see at U of L, so that makes it a little faster for the sprints, but sometimes a little bit more tough on the distance runners. It was definitely fast, and we're going to take a look at the times here and then talk about some of the things that happened and how they may affect the state going forward. Just going to go through just the way the meet happened. South Oldham kicked it off by kicking past Eastern in the last 200 meters to win the girls 4x8. Now Eastern actually dropped the stick on one of their legs. They got bumped and dropped it, so they lost to South. South was 10 flat, .77. Eastern was 10 on 1.21. But Eastern's got to feel like they can do some more work there. Then third place was DuPont Manual, 10:08.49. They ran that time without Kayla Hill or Liz Anderson or Sarah Barker, so they got to really feel like they can run, a much faster time. Who knows what the splits were? Obviously not us, but with the kind of times that Barker and Anderson laid down today, along with Hill's, reasonable talent. At this point, from what we've seen, it's reasonable to think that they could possibly even get under 9:30 if they really laid down and get focused. So it'll be interesting to see if they load that up and try and go after the record. Meade was fourth in 10:09.98. That was a nice run for them as well. St. X, Butler, and Central had a nice battle with St. X coming in for the win. 8:06.56, 8:07.54 for Butler, and 8:09.59 for Central. Now North Hardin was up early like they have been a lot of times, but they faded again like they have done several times this year. But it sounds like they might run that at state now, which would be interesting to see how Stewart can respond in the mile. St. X didn't run Austin Carter to keep him fresh for the mile, still ran 8:06, and Butler didn't run Trey Kennard, still ran 8:07. So we'll see how that affects them, and if St. X decides to go this route, because 8:06 will definitely put them in contention for second, if not the win, depending on how they want to shift things. Girls hurdles was dominated by Brittany Crawford of Henry County. She's been dominant over everyone in the area all year, and did it again yesterday. Brandon Bagley of John Hardin was 14.60 to win the 110s into a slight headwind. He also came back and went 50.08 in the 400 open to get third. More about that race later. Haley Holloway won the girls straight from John Hardin. She was 12.59 to win the 100, and then came back and won the 400 later, 58.64. She beat Marley Stanfield of Meade County in that 400, who was 59.74. Holloway also was 36.07 to win the long jump. Sorry, triple jump. Boys 100 was Chisholm Ominima of Mayo, 10.88. So another nice run from him. He's going to match up with Jarrell Moore of Front Creek on Tuesday. Hopefully to see if they can both lay down a real fast 100 time. But males relays were the big story, I think, and Chisholm was obviously a big part of that. The 4x2 was 127.23. That's 36th nationally, unofficially a state record. And the 4x1 was 41.29, unofficially a state record, and that's 14th nationally. So really fast relays yesterday for them. Andrew Stewart had run the leadoff for North Hardin 4x8. It was about 156 high, 157 low on that split. 422.38 for the 1600, a race where it was 2:15 at the halfway point, and Stewart just took off and left everybody. Austin Carter came up for second, 425.67 from St. X, and Trey Kennard of Butler was 426.72 for third. Stewart then came back in the 800 and went 155.24 for the win and kind of ran away with it. Austin Carter of St. X again second, 158.22. Jermaine of Central, 158.58, and then Trevor Jarvis of Connor, 159.12. So some nice times there. Girls, 4x1 from Mayo was 49.76, ran away from everybody. Talked about the girls 400. The boys 400 was DeRay Von Thomas Randall of Eastern winning, 49.74. First time under 50 for him. Just ahead of Dexter Britt of Mayo, 49.79. I think that's the first time under 50 for him this year as well. Girls 300 hurdles, a great race between Tiffany Brown of Meade County and Jessica Gabbard of E-Town. Brown hit a hurdle early and then tripped big time over the last one at the end and kind of stumbled across the line, it seemed like. but ended up winning 46.27 to 46.35, two very fast times. And it seemed like Gabbert kind of moved up on Browning a little bit at the top of the straightaway and got Brown refocused, and they pushed each other all the way to the end for those two really fast times. In the throws, it was Kyle Jenkins of Mayo going 191.04 in the discus. That's number 5 all time in Kentucky. Wow. 51.7 in the shot put for second, behind Drew Nelson of St. X, who was 52.0.5. North Jordan's girls 4x2 was 146.05. That was a nice run for them. Surprising that they ran away from everybody. I don't think anybody else broke 150. That's number 2 in Class 3A currently. Carly Evans of Meade County was sharp in winning the 226.14, but the Meade girls were 405.86 in the 4x4 and kind of smashed everybody, and let everybody know that they're going to be the team to look for to challenge Campbell County, I think, this year in the 4x4. So we'll see how that goes. In the 200, on the boys' side, 3 guys under 22.3 was a great race. Robbie Graham of Mail, 22.05. James Quick, the freshman from Trinity, 22.10. And Deion Cummings of PRP, 22.26. So nice runs there. Cummings has been impressive this year. PRP is starting to put together a solid team. Ryan Ramsey of St. X, 15.0. In the pole vault, took a couple shots at 16 before just having to settle for 15. John Purcell's teammate was 12.06 for second. Depending on how Owensboro and Henderson County do, they got to start thinking about going 1-2 in that pole vault, getting those points, and how it's going to affect the team scores as they try to make a run of mail this year. Don't forget about Emma Brink. She ran just the 8 in the 800 and the 3200 yesterday. Tough race in the 800. The girls were chasing her the whole time, and she went to the lead right from the gun in both races. But in the 800, it was 2:15.79. Very nice run for her. Sarah Barker of DuPont Manual, 2:16.96, and Liz Anderson, 2:18.47 for second and third. So great runs by all three. But Brink was more impressive. I mean, coming back, obviously 11:07.20 to win the 3200 over Kettering and Karras of Shelby County, who was 11:21.46, and then Kristen Hale of DuPont Manual, 11:24.31. Kind of gave us an idea of what Brink's capable of. 2:15. The 800 is where we feel like no one can touch her probably when she's fresh, and even when she's a little tired, she still looks like she's better than everybody else. But that 3200 time, a fresh Bostrom or a fresh Anderson might ended up being pushed. It was interesting to see that Karras, fresh, couldn't handle her. That was interesting to watch. So we'll see how that plays out. In the boys 3200, a great race between Jackson Carnes of St. X and then Sean Vandermosen of Connor. Carnes had a 10-meter lead at the top of the stretch and kind of seemed like he was powering away for the win, and Vandermosen got up and brought it all the way to the finish line and got the win at 9:44.55. Carnes was 9:44.65, so very close all the way to the line. Armand Frigo of St. Henry and Rizik Lotto of Central both sneaked under 10 flat, 9:58 for Frigo and 9:59 for Relato. In the 4x4 on the boys' side, St. X was 3:25.59, Eastern 3:27.95, and Central 3:28.61. Male had some issues. They had a 55 leg. They had ended up getting DQ'd for a handoff out of the exchange zone, so that was kind of the bump on their day. Coach Noose said something about being as angry as he's been in a long time after that one, so we'll have to see how they respond to that. And finally, on the day, Chris Eulis of E-Town was phenomenal. He won the long jump, 22 feet, 1.5 inches, triple jump, 44 feet, 10.5 inches, and the high jump, 6 feet, 4 inches. Won on misses against Ben Bessler in the high jump. Both were 6'4". Peter Randalls of North Hardin was 44.08 in the triple, and Mike Patterson was 43.06 or 43.08 from Mayo, and then Kevon Dunbar was 21.10.5 for Central in second in the long jump, and Bowdy of Covington Cath was 21.7.5 for third in the long jump. A great meet, tons of things happening, tons more going on next week as we get ready to go into regionals. I'm out.